Last night it was looking good for a little while. What was a gushing stream is now just a trickle. There's a little plate right here. And it's a little track. So the height, this cylinder here pushes the plate back under the wheel. There was no real thinking involved here. It's like, I have no idea what's going to happen if I get in the soft snow at this point. The plane's just turning me to the left. Like there's nothing I can do. Full right rudder. Again, I got no brakes. I'm on skis. And I'm heading into the mount. Can't complain. Nobody'd listen anyway. The snow piles up and I think, oh, maybe the snow stopped. And I realize that there's just so much snow on the tent that I can't hear the snow flakes. I'm excited though to wear my hat, sweater, and gloves all at the same time. I want to make some pants too, but I'm not sure exactly how to do that with the knitting yet. Day 8. Just got out of the tent, slept in a little bit today. No chance of seeing the sunrise. Last night it was looking good for a little while. Late last night, like middle of the night, but clouds came back in and started snowing. Been snowing since. Just out getting some water. What was a gushing stream is now just a trickle. So it takes a little bit more effort to get water. Another day like this, again, back to melting snow, get drinking water and cooking water and stuff. What can you do? In the end, it's beautiful weather. It's just not conducive to flying or too much of anything else, really, except enjoying the show, making some food, cogitating life, being in the moment, wondering, not worrying about if I'm ever going to get the wing covers off the plane. Wondering what it's like to spend the winter here. But for now, time to warm up, have a little breakfast. I've been in the rain and snow, mostly snow, now for 4 days, 5 days. It's all starting to blur together. Doesn't look like it's going to let up for a while either. But we got a little break. I can see a tiny bit of blue sky right now. So just out sweeping the wings. Getting some of the snow off. No sense making the sun melt the snow. I can brush it off. Because then what little sun there is can start to melt the stuff that's harder to sweep off and get the wing covers dry. But it's kind of a make-work task. It's just going to start snowing again harder in half an hour. We're just kind of in the clouds here, about 7,000 feet, and clouds just kind of waft through, bring snow. And a little bright spot like this, and then back to snow. But it's midday, not quite noon, so it's about as warm as it's gonna get. Probably just below freezing right now. So if I get the covers clear right now, they have the best chance of drying out a little bit. That's something. What can you do? Hasn't been accumulating very much. I think, 2 or 3 inches. It's pretty wet too, so it consolidates, you know, it packs down. This is like great snowball snow. It's really wet. Which is good. Thicker snow. Yeah, I mean, it's all relative to purpose. Anything's fine. I mean, the big question that's going to be in my mind when the snow finally stops and the sky is clear and I can get out of here is whether to take off on skis or wheels. So my landing gear here, it lets me choose between skis or wheels. There's a hydraulic line that I can control from inside that'll pump the skis down. Let's see if I can show you here. There's a little plate right here. And it's a little track. So this cylinder here pushes the plate back under the wheel. So now I'm taking off on straight skis. But then I don't have brakes. It's questionable though whether in this snow I'd have brakes anyway with wheels, but it makes me feel like I'm in more control anyway. So that'll be the question to answer, is whether to take off on skis and wheels. If I were to take off right now, I'd probably put the skis down. Yeah. The wheels create more drag, slow things down. But I think I marked out the place further up. We'll see how it goes, but I think I'm gonna try and taxi further up Glacier and get a little bit more run at it. Yeah, we'll just have to see. First time I landed here, 2014. First time I landed with myself as the pilot on a solo trip, I should say, I guess, 'cause I'd landed here as a passenger dozens and dozens of times. But the first time I was out here on myself was August 2014. And it was with a different plane, same model, Cessna 170, but smaller engine and no skis. It was just big, fat bush tires, like the kind you land on tundra, like 31-inch tires. My first landing, first time on my own, all that, it went great. Had a week of perfect weather. Did a lot of work up at camp, like kind of overdue maintenance, and got rid of a whole bunch of stuff, brought a whole bunch of stuff down here to fly out. Walked the glacier, accumulated things in the piles. I thought, you know, how I can just do all this. I can clean this place up from all the debris. Keeps melting out. It was getting time to go, and I was packing up. I was back down here for the night. In the morning, I was packing up. I saw the first clouds of the day, of the trip, really, kind of poking in, you know, kind of around the edges of the valley, because I can't see beyond the valley. I'm in touch with people outside, you know, to give me weather reports, because, you know, once I take off from here, I got to land somewhere, and I got to land somewhere that has fuel, which is not easy to find. So packing up, the clouds are kind of closing in, but they're still high. You know, I can still see, you know, they're above the mountains. I'm in the plane. I'm like ready to, like, I've already fired up the plane, made sure it all works and all that. I'm getting ready to literally take off, and a few snowflakes come down. I'm like, yeah, you know, I still have good visibility, but, you know, it's my first time. I mean, 2014, I only became a pilot 2013, right? I became a pilot largely to fly out here. So I'm a pretty low time pilot. I'm trying to be pretty conservative. It's like, okay, let's just give it a few minutes, see what this does. 1 week later, I'm still sitting in the plane, and now there's like 2 feet of snow on the ground, maybe 3. So the tail of the plane was buried by snow. It was that much snow. And worse, the plane was facing uphill. When I landed, it was on some new snow, kind of like what I did a week ago when I landed here, but it was really slick, and I'm on those big fat bush wheels, and I couldn't make the turn to turn down Glacier. I land up Glacier, and then I turn like I'm facing here, so I'm facing down Glacier. Couldn't make that turn because I didn't have any brakes, basically, on those slick 31-inch tires. Just holding the brake, I couldn't make the turn. I thought, well, I'm here, whatever, I'll just tie it down right here. Big mistake. So I get this 2 or 3 feet of snow on the ground now. And of course, I'm not just sitting in the plane, right? I mean, after a few hours, I realized, okay, I'm not going anywhere today. So I set the tent back up. And I'm sweeping the wings, because I didn't have wing covers either, trying to keep them clear. And this goes on for a day or two, and the snow's accumulating. It's not like this. This is just like, it's almost like rain, but white. It's really thick. This stuff was fluffy, accumulating. So I start packing, with skis and packing with the snow machine, trying to make a place, trying to harden the snow so that I have a skiway to take off on with wheels. This goes on, keep packing. Every day I'm just out there, that's all I'm doing is packing the snow. And I start to realize the plane's facing the wrong way, and now there's like a foot of snow on the ground. Okay. So now I'm shoveling to make a ramp to drive the plane out. I got a little climbing shovel, these little folding shovels. So moving the snow 2 or 3 times just to make a space wide enough to get the plane out. Get the plane started, full power. Can't drive it uphill up this ramp. Another day or two goes by, and still another foot of snow. So then I make a ramp kind of 45 degrees to the slope. Full power, can't make it up. Every time I swing the plane around, I got to dig basically a semicircle to get the tail, so I'm digging down to the ice each time. So by now I've moved the snow 4 or 5 times, and now I've got a ramp going sideways. So like this, I'm downhills that way, uphills that way. So I drive it out this way. I finally get up onto the ice, and by then, this is a week into it. There's literally, good. It probably fell as 3 feet, but it was a good 2 feet. It was higher than the tail. Now I'm up on the snow, and I've been packing it down. The question is, how wide do I make it? I only have so much fuel for the snow machine, only energy for me for packing with skis. How long do I make it? I'd never taken off here before myself in this plane. And this plane had a much smaller engine than this one. So finally the day comes. It's a sunny day. It was a clear night, sunny day. There's frost on the wings, but it melts off in the sun. Getting the plane packed up again, and it's like time to go. It's like it's either I leave now, take off now, or I walk out and leave the plane and come back in spring and hope it's still there. It's like that's the moment of truth. So I'm in the plane, I got it fired up. I'm looking down this what I thought was a nice long skiway, which looks exceedingly short now that I'm actually having to take off on it. So you can see I've got these cones now kind of marking the spot. That's one of the reasons I have those cones. It's as much really for taking off, but they also mark how long, like I know the distance between them, so that, if I'm not off by a certain cone, it's like something's wrong, I should stop, because, I don't want to keep going any further. So, I tried to make the skiway as smooth as I can, and I'm in wheels, and it's hard. So it was cold overnight, so the packing and the coldness, the clear skies overnight made the skiway really, really hard. But it's not totally smooth. So there's nothing else for it, just full power, facing downhill, here we go. And, to a certain degree, the snow that I was packing was following the little wiggles in the ice. So it's kind of rough. So I'm kind of chattering down as I'm getting going. And the tail wheel, right, that one has a tail wheel and a little ski. The ski is fixed. That doesn't go up and down. The tail wheel, I don't have direct, like when I press on the rudder pedals, it moves the tail wheel, but there's a spring, so it doesn't really move it if it doesn't want to move. It's not direct linkage. So the tail wheel's digging in and tracking whichever way it wants to go and turning me sideways to the runway. So I'm moving off the trail, and at the same time, the main tires are chattering around. I've got no braking ability because they're so smooth, fat and round. So by the time I get the tail up, I got enough power to almost to fly when the tail's up, right? The tail is flying. I'm veering off into the soft snow. Like I had like there was no real thinking involved here. It's like I have no idea what's going to happen if I get in the soft snow at this point. What do I know? I'm new pilot on wheels on snow at 7,000 feet. What the hell? But there's nothing for it. So I just, I pushed the nose down as far as I dared, and I just ripped in full flaps. I got a big bar in there so I can just pull them in, and, it changes the lift of the wing, substantially increases the lift of the wing at the expense of drag. And did that just as I was entering the soft snow, and it was just enough to kind of pop it up off so I didn't like drive into the soft snow, but I wasn't quite flying yet. The plane wasn't quite ready to fly yet, but I'm facing downhill as much as I dare, and the plane settles, and I'm like, here we come, here we go, but it didn't settle enough to slow the plane down. I just kind of kissed it, and just the fact that I was going downhill in ground effect got me off the ground. And then there was a whole set of stories after that. I didn't have enough fuel to get where I wanted to go. The weather was blocked because there's no good weather reporting. Still not good weather reporting back then, but anyway, I ended up, that was just the beginning of that day's experiences. But I vowed not to come back here in that plane again. I needed a plane with more power and a plane that on skis, and that turned out to be this plane. It took a couple of years to save up the money for it, and by then I also had a lot more skill as a pilot, and not that I really have a lot now, but I had a lot more than I had then. So this plane does all right. The ability to switch between wheels and skis is really good, really handy up here. So they're not without their risk either, or their issues, I should say. I took off from here in May one time. See, the thing about the skis, they have these little follower wheels, these little bogey wheels in the back that kind of keep them from dragging. But they don't really keep them from dragging. There's metal skags underneath the skis that kind of help you track straight in the snow. And they rub, like I have a lot of gravel strips, right? And they rub the gravel so they get worn down. And I still don't understand how this happened, because in winter when I'm here, I encase the skis in plastic bags so that the snow won't freeze to them if I was sitting here for a week. So I lift the skis up, I pump them up hydraulically, get these big trash bags underneath them, both sides, and then flatten them back down, pump them back down so that the bags are trapped. In any case, like I said, I don't know how this happened, but I'm taking off, right, that way. I've done this now a bunch of times, know what I'm doing. And I get going, and the plane's just turning me to the left. Like there's nothing I can do. Full right rudder. Again, I got no brakes. I'm on skis. And I'm heading into the mountains. And I'm like, I have no idea. I just had to pull the power and just let it come to a stop because I had no control. The plane was just pulling to the left. And by the time it stopped, it was 90 degrees facing into the mountains. So I get out. The skis are pumped down. I mean, everything was looking right. And, excuse me, one of those skags, I guess, had worn through so thin, it busted the screw off and bent down 90 degrees. And how I didn't see that when I put those plastic bags, and I can't see how it happened here, but it must have caught on something as I was going. and bent down, swung around, and it was like dragging an anchor, and it was just pulling me to the left. So now here I am, plane's full. What am I going to do? I'm halfway down. Well, one of those times that really tests your mettle. To unload the plane, jack up the skis, find a way to, I couldn't bend that thing. I had to find a way to get the last unbroken screw off and then get the broken screw heads off to get that skag off. Then taxi the plane, which fortunately I was able to do because I don't know what I would have done if I wasn't. Taxi the plane back up to start, drag all my gear back up to start, put it back in the plane, take off again. So there's no shortage of fun that we had up here, learning experiences. Overall, can't complain. Nobody'd listen anyway. Right now, in terms of leaving, it's just a waiting game, and not an unexpected one. I'm not. It's like either I go in for blitzkrieg trip, like come in, work, and leave the next day or day after in that same weather window, or I just have to plan that there's going to be 4 or 5 days a week, sometimes 2 weeks, just weather that's just not really all for flying. I mean, right now it's like, I could take off right now. I got good visibility on the snow, a little bit of sunshine, but that's what I'd be taking off into. And that's not something I want to fly into. I mean, you got to see where you're going. And then if it's like that here, it's probably like that all around. So where am I going to go? Where am I going to land? So those are the things to consider and think about. And while I'm waiting, I think I'm gonna hike down to the other station. And, might be a little too buried now, but add a few more hose clamps, strengthen it up, make it last another year or two. Get a little exercise. Might do lunch first. Yeah, the forecast is just for more of this for the next day or two. So this little opening that I have right now, they're not really like cyclic, like in some schedule, but usually you get half an hour, 45 minutes like this, and then it's back to full-on snow and clouds, and then it opens up again. So maybe I'll have some lunch first and see what I can do. My solar panels aren't working. I don't know why. I mean, there should be plenty of sun right now to generate something, but for whatever reason, there's some mechanical problem with the connection itself. But I'm getting 22 volts out of it, so just no amperage. Who knows? All right, time to eat. Down to rationing my cookies. I got 3 Turner cookies left, so hopefully I won't run out before it's time to go. I started knitting about a year ago. I have some friends that are big into knitting, and they have sheep and the whole works. They spin their own wool. And last summer was the first summer in a long time, like decades basically, where I spent most of the summer in town. My commercial work, it sort of funds all this, is all aviation related, which means it's all weather related. So I can't really make any plans during summer or, when I have flying jobs, because it's just all weather dependent. I can't schedule the work. I just have to wait for the weather to let me know it's okay to go ahead. But I slowed down on that last year because I really wanted to focus on this project and the data analysis of it at the expense. And one of the things that I started getting into, what that allowed me to do, besides get more work done, glacier analysis work, is hang out with my friends again. Have like regular events that we do. So one of those regular events was a knitting circle, Saturday afternoons, and hang out, chit chat, and knit stuff. And I started knitting neck gaiters, these kind of things, because I have a really big head and hats just don't fit me very well. They just pull off, so I wear these neck gaiters and just pull them up. So I knit like a dozen of those. And then I graduated to a sweater, which is basically just 3 neck gaiters. It's like a torso neck gaiter and 2 sleeve neck gaiters, and you join it and make a, and that's the pattern. So now what I'm doing, oh wait, I made these gloves too. Oh, here's one. Oh, here's these gloves. They're fingerless gloves. They're pretty handy for up here. I finished them just before coming up here. So you can do stuff, but then still kind of stay warm. So now what I'm doing is making a neck gaiter that matches the pattern of the sweater. So it's got this solid color here, and then it changes into these other colors. For whatever reason, I don't know. It's the first time I brought knitting to the glacier. But I've been here for a couple hours now. After I went and swept off the plane, I had some lunch, and I thought my plan was to go down glacier and fix up that weather station a little bit. And sure enough, as soon as I got in the tent, started raining, and it was raining hard for a while. So I guess I shouldn't say, but probably above freezing in that ballpark. And then, well, now it's snowing. It's now almost 4:30, and you can see, I don't know if you can, the snow piles up, and I think, oh, maybe the snow stopped. And I realized that there's just so much snow on the tent that I can't hear the snowflakes. So it probably sounds louder now. At least it does to me. Oops. Anyway, slow day on the glacier. But that's okay. Slow days are good too. I screwed this up already. Not paying attention. Who knows? Maybe I'll finish it before I leave, and then who knows what good that will do me later. I'm excited, though, to wear my hat, sweater, and gloves all at the same time. I want to make some pants, too, but I'm not sure exactly how to do that with the knitting yet. One step at a time.